Welcome back to Hashes and Numbers. I'm Thomas. I'm here with my co-host.
Justin.
And today we're going to be talking about the NFC side, previewing their off seasons. Free agency's a couple weeks away. So, we'll go to the NFC and then we'll talk about the combine a little bit, some of our favorite guys performing, right? Some guys showing out, some guys who maybe dropped a little bit. But we'll first talk about all the teams in the NFC in the off season. Again, we're going to be going in reverse draft order. So we'll start off with the Cardinals, who have the third overall pick. Yeah, what do you have for their season in review?
Yeah, for season review, I just put that they are another team that also finished 3-14, where it was it's a 3-14 streak for the AFC side.
Hmm.
I said that one of their shocking win was against the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, where
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure that Cowboys team were healthy. And then I'll be breaking down the team wise, season wise. Kyler Murray Kyler Murray season ending injury, right?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, because and I said where Jacoby stepped up and shined the brightest, putting the QB spot wide open.
Hmm.
James Conner, another season-ending injury as well. A
Yeah.
lot of injuries on the back where, it was very bad where at some point they needed to, it was like RB4 or RB5, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it was that bad. Trey McBride continues to shine and show that he's one of the best tight end. Michael Wilson, his best season so far. I think he doubled what he had the first two seasons, which, is a good take. Marvin Harrison Jr. limited to 12 games. But yeah, still concerning how he doesn't look like his old OSU self because he was a good baller. Walter Nolan, a rookie. Yeah, Walter Nolan season came in a season-ending injury, and Will Johnson, their cornerback, also was limited due to injury. And yeah,
Hmm. So it brings us to the coaching moves. So they fired their head coach Jonathan Gannon. So now they're bringing new head coach Mike LaFleur, who was the offensive coordinator for the Rams. And then for the offensive coordinator, they're bringing Nathaniel Hackett, who was formerly a head coach of the Denver Broncos. Um, in the draft, they have the third pick. They have seven picks, but they have no additional picks, right? They have their regular picks, no additional picks. Yeah, what do you have or I'll go with the key free agents real quick. Michael Carter, Jonah Williams, Kelvin Beachum, Will Hernandez, three old linemen there, Michael Carter being the running back. And then defense, Calais Campbell, and then Jalen Thompson, a safety. While Kyler Murray's a cut candidate or a trade candidate, and then James Conner's a cut or trade candidate coming off an injury. So yeah, why don't you talk about like what you see them needing in this offseason?
yeah. Talking about Kyler Murray being a trade cut candidate, I said I think they need a quarterback. Kyler Murray future with the Cardinals is very unclear, as we could see. Running back is also unclear. James Conner is getting old and has been, going through a lot of injuries. I feel like O line, O line could be a part of the fix as well. D line also could be a part of fix because Campbell and Jones is a free agents.
Hmm. And they
Yeah.
have 39 million in cap to do that to work with that. So I'm interested to see how they use their draft picks, how they use their money in free agency. We'll move on to the Giants if you have nothing else for the Cardinals.
Mhm.
All right. So what do you have on the Giants season?
Yeah, they finished. Let me hold on. Let me go down. They finished 4-13. I think this team will be a very exciting playoff team next year, potentially coming from a Philadelphia Eagles win. They had a two good win. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles and the Chargers, where there is some close loss to a few good teams such as the Broncos, Bears, Packers, and Lions. I would say they kind of choked those. They're up big against the Broncos, but they ended up choking that. Well, and then for QB, Russell Wilson starts off the year. Then Jackson Dart later comes in, who plays decent, and I feel like he has a big potential. Tyrone Tracy was the RB1 start off the season, but then Scatterboo became the RB1, where it looks like it'll be like that for the upcoming year. He's a very physical runner, and huge fan of him since his Arizona State era. But it's sad to see that it came to a short end due to a season-ending injury this year. And then Wendell Robinson was the elite wide receiver this year, finishing at the 1,000 yard club. And then two solid tight end. Slayton also had a huge impact on this team when Malik Neighbors' season came to a short because of season-ending injury as well.
Yeah. So they fired their head coach Brian Dable. So now they have new head coach John Harbaugh, who was a head coach in Baltimore previously. The offensive coordinator, they bring in Matt Nagy, who was offensive coordinator in KC. And then for the defensive coordinator, they bring in Denard Wilson, who was a defensive coordinator in Tennessee. In the draft, they have the fifth overall pick in the first round, and they have only two picks in the top 100, being their first and second round picks. But both of them are top 50, so they have a little gap there between 50 and 100. Their key free agents, they have Wandale Robinson, a free agent, Daniel Bellinger, tight end at free agent, as a free agent. On the O-line, Jermaine Elinor and Greg Van Roten as free agents. And then on the DB side, Cordell Flott and Dane Belton are key free agents. And then a key cut candidate is Bobby Okereke at linebacker. He's the guy who they can cut to get some money. But yeah, with 5 million in cap, what do you see them looking to get?
Yeah, I mean, I just said wide receiver potential of losing Wendell Robinson, a very good elite wide receiver in my opinion. Also need a O-line. You know, a lot of team needs O-line in my opinion. I also went with cornerback. They're start. Yeah, they have few starting back who's a free agent. Adibo and Banks were very good, but then I think they need a little bit more depth. And then I just put a safety question mark.
hmm Yeah, I
Yeah.
have same thing for you, wide receiver, and then on the right side of the line, right tackle, right guard. I have all three levels. I have D tackle is one of the needs, a linebacker is one of the needs, and then a cornerback is one of the needs. So a little bit more on each side there. Um, yeah, they got, like I said, 5 million in cap, so they're gonna have to make some money if they want to re-sign the guys and to bring in some guys in free agency. So we'll see what the Giants do in the offseason there.
Yeah, I don't know if he I don't know if he mentioned this, but they have a new head coach coming up.
They
Yeah.
John Harbaugh coming in. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. We'll head to the Commanders now. Um, the Commanders, what do you have them in for the season?
Yeah, they finished 5-12, which is not terrible with like the scenario, like stuff happening around them, you know? I feel like it was a very unlucky year for them. Few solid win. Jaden Daniels was, yeah, he was injured a lot of the season, but then his season came to a season-ending injury, which put Marcus Mariota to start. And their running back situation was also a mess where, you know, Eckler's season came to a season-ending injury. They traded away Brian Robinson to the Niners. It was during off season, but they traded him away. And then Ricky J's Ja'Cory, you can say the name for me.
Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt.
Yeah, he he kind of bought out this year. Terry McLaurin missed a lot of time. Debo, look good at times. Zachers was a very good fit for this team, but also was a season-ending injury, which I feel like a lot of huge player name. You know, a lot of players got injured this season, and then the defense was very mid, but inconsistent offense played the Commanders, in my opinion.
hmm For the coaching moves, Coach Dan Quinn's still gonna be at the helm, but they have offensive coordinator change in David Blau, who's the assistant quarterback coach in Washington, and then the defensive coordinator is gonna be Durante Jones, who's DB coach and the passing coordinator for Minnesota. In the draft, they have six picks. The first one being in the first round, 1.7. They don't have their second round pick though. And they only have two picks inside the one in the top 140, one in the top 70, which is their first round pick. So they probably won't be building off the draft too much. Upcoming free agents, they have Marcus Mariota, Austin Eckler, Debo Samuel on the O-line, Chris Paul, Von Miller on the edge, Jacob Martin on the edge, Bobby Wagner at linebacker, and Jonathan Jones at corner. And then Marshawn Lattimore at corner is a cut candidate to save some money. What do you have for the positions in need?
Yeah, I said that running back is one of the things because it's very thin at the running back position where it looks like JCM will be a starter, but I feel like, you know, they're one running back short, and then wide receivers because Debo is a free agent who is a elite and a good fit for them. And then Linebacker, just because Bobby Wagner is a huge player for this team, but is a free agent. Tight ends, because Zach Ertz, and a little bit fix of D line, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, Zach Ertz is. I think he's considering retirement, but coming off that knee injury. So I don't know if he's announced he's retiring or he's considering it, but he's a retirement candidate as well. For me, I only have three positions in need, but they're big positions in need. Wide receiver, obviously you said Debo's a free agent. Left guard and then linebacker. They gotta fix some of those holes, but I think their core is still pretty good. You know, they did make the playoffs 2 years ago, make the conference championships. So that's pretty good, a pretty good core. They obviously have a quarterback and a young running back. The cap space they have is 73 million, so they do have money to work with. Yeah, anything else on the Commanders?
Mm, Just a question for you, but
Yeah.
you didn't have running backs, so I'm assuming you're fine with JCM starting.
I think JCM's fine as a starter. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they're keeping I think they have another running back who's not gonna be a free agent. But yeah, didn't I mean Eckler missed most of the year, or if any of the year, all of the year, right?
Mhm.
So they pretty much kind of know what they're looking at without Eckler. So I don't have a big issue with Eckler leaving a free agency. Um, yeah, looking at the running back situation, Eckler, um, Jeremy McNichols, but I don't think it's gonna be that costly to get him back. And then I'm pretty sure I forgot his name, but he's coming back.
Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah, Chris Rodriguez. I think he's coming back, or he's a restricted
Yeah,
free agent. So um, yeah, so they're gonna be able to bring back Chris Rodriguez, I think.
I see.
hmm Next we'll move on to the Saints. You know, Saints had an up and down year. Why don't you go through it?
Yeah, they finished the season 6-12, which was kind of close winning the division just because the division was, chaotic. They started off the season very slow, but ended the season very hot. Tyler Shuck, a guy that I didn't know how to say his name, he is a real legit W move. He's a real baller, I would say, and he's a QB that will be starting in the future, in my opinion. I said bare minimum production from the backs. Kamara's just getting old. Devin Neal is still unproven RB1. Olave has one of his best healthy season and bought out. Jawan Johnson's a good fit tight end for this team. And they traded away Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks.
hmm
And a healthy defense was was decent this year. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have any coaching moves coming in. You know, pretty young coaching staff, right? So they're gonna run it back for another year. In the draft, though, they do have six picks in the top 150. They have eight total picks, including the eighth overall pick. Some key free agents they have: Dylan Radins at O-line, Luke Fortner at center, and then Cam Jordan at the edge, Demario Davis at linebacker, and Alontae Taylor at cornerback. And then Alvin Kamara, obviously getting up there in age, is a cut candidate. What do you have for positions in need? Because I'm interested in what you have for this one.
Yeah, I just put wide receivers because, Chris Olave is a very good wide receiver, one in my opinion. They should always Shaheed, like what I said, but I just feel like, they're gonna need a wide receiver too, just because a lot of these good teams have a second wideout.
hmm
They have Devon Vele, who's the wide receiver three, but I feel like they need another move. You said Kamara's a cut candidate because he's getting old, and their money situation is very terrible right now. So I feel like they will need a running back probably in the draft or so. They need a D line just because few crucial free agents coming up for them, and Cam Jordan might retire. Cornerback, I think they will need cornerback depth just because, you know, I like their cornerbacks. Yeah.
hmm Um, I have a lot for them. I have running back and receiver. You kind of mentioned both, right? With Kamara being potentially out, even he's getting older, so you gotta have someone else in there. And the receiver getting a second receiver. I have left guard as a position need, and then on their defense, I have everything damn near. I have edge rusher, D tackle, linebacker, and cornerback. So I mean, I think they gotta redo their whole D line. But you did mention like they're in a tough situation money wise. They have negative 8 million in cap. So they're gonna have to restructure contracts, do some cuts and some, moving around to get that money in. So Saints, they got some good draft picks, but they're in a tough situation money wise.
Yeah, does Alvin Kamara really make that much though?
I think he's a huge cap hit. Let me check real quick, but um, he has a cap hit of 18.6.
Okay, yeah. Hold on.
So cutting him would save about 8.5 million from the Saints, but it would leave 10
Yeah.
million, 10 million in dead cap. So, you know, it's a question they're gonna have to figure out. Um, Next we have the Dallas Cowboys. Um, yeah, why don't you go through their season?
Yeah, they finished the season 7, 9, and 1. I think Cowboys is like one of the two teams that has a tie, I'm pretty sure. I said a very bad loss to the Cardinals, like what I mentioned about the Cardinals. They had a good win. Few close games, not a terrible season to be honest. Dak Prescott balled out. He finished top three in total passing yard, but he got sacked way too much time, which is very iffy. Javonte Williams is a clear backcourse this season. He balled out and had his best season in the NFL. Pickens and Lamb was one of the best wideout duo, and Ferguson was also very elite for this team. I just said one of the worst defense this year, and they chid away Micah Parsons.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Um, Coaching wise, they brought in a new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker, who's the pass game coordinator for Philadelphia. They have 8 total picks, and they have the Packers' first round pick from the Micah Parsons trade, but they have no picks until the fourth round after those two first round picks, since they traded for Quinn Williams. Key free agents: Miles Sanders, Jadeveon Clowney, Dante Fowler, Logan Wilson, Kenneth Murray, Jack Sanborn, and Donovan Wilson. They have 3 linebackers that are free agents. And then some other news: George Pickens is being franchise tagged, and then Javonte Williams is being re-signed. So, what do you have for positions in need?
You said Javonte is getting re-signed?
I think he's been re-signed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I had a running back just because I thought Javonte was set to become a free agent. And I was gonna say their running back or second running back is very iffy.
Yeah, they re-signed
They
him. They re-signed him to a 3-year deal in February 2026. So during this month.
oh well wait, how is that even possible if their money situation is at negative 52.5 ish?
You can still make deals. You just have to get under the cap by the start of the new year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean I originally put running back, but that I put wide receivers because I said they might lose Pickens and Tolbert, but they franchise tag Pickens. Then I said need help on the defensive side. Yeah, I just said they need a lot of help on the defensive side. They need to resign it, or not resign, but rebuild the whole defense.
Hmm. You
Yeah,
mentioned that they do have negative 30 million in cap space. So that's gonna be tough for them to get under, but I think they'll work around that. Um, for positions that I have running back, receiver, obviously, but those two have been solved, like you said. And then their defense, edge rusher, linebacker, cornerback, safety, pretty much everything except the D tackles, because Kenny Clark's a pretty solid guy in the interior of the defense. Um, yeah, I think Dallas is gonna have the big decision can be trying to get under the cap space, whether that's moving money with Dak Prescott or other stuff.
yeah,
All right, we can go to Atlanta now. Atlanta, I mean, they finished tied for first in the division. So, what do you have for their season?
yeah. I just put down. They finished the season 8-9, just a game short for the division, which is pretty good. But Penix got his season came down early just because of season-ending injury. Then Kirk Cousin stepped in for the or quarterback one. He didn't do that bad, but interception was a major problem for him once again. B. John Robinson shines bright again. Tyler Algier is an elite second running back on the team, and then Drake London limited due to injury, but shines. Pitts had one of his best like season, especially that one game in prime time. It was a huge game, and then another disappointing year for Darnell Mooney, who might be a release candidate or trade candidate maybe, and then defense was solid middle of the pack.
Hmm. So that leaves us, they fired their head coach, Raheem Morris. They bring in new head coach Kevin Stefanski, who was a head coach in Cleveland. Offensive coordinator is Tommy Rees, who was the OC in Cleveland with Stefanski. In the draft, they have no first round pick as they traded it last year to the Rams. So now their first pick is going to be in the second round. They have five total picks, so not a big, draft heavy team. And their money, they only have 26 million in free agency or in cap space. So not a lot of money there. The key free agents, Tyler Algier, like you mentioned, David Sills, Elijah Wilkerson, David Onyemata, Caden Ellis, and D. Alford. And then some big other moves. Kirk Cousins is a cut candidate. Darnell Mooney is a cut candidate. And then Kyle Pitts is a franchise tag candidate. I think they actually use their franchise tag on Kyle Pitts. So what do you have for them in terms of team needs?
Yeah, I just put quarterback just because I mean Penix is that guy, but I heard like his future is unclear yet. From what I heard, Kirk Cousins release candidate, like what you said. I said they need another wideout because they're now Moody's a cut candidate and Drake London's that guy for the team. Tight end just because Pitts might become a free agent, but pretty sure he got franchise tagged.
Hmm.
D line, I feel like they gotta draft a few D line in this draft class or sign a few, and they need to re-sign Caden Ellis, in my opinion.
Yeah. Um, I have quarterback, obviously, receiver. I think they can go get a receiver, tight end, Kyle Pitts. D tackle, I do think they should work on the interior of their line. Linebacker with Caden Ellis being a free agent, and then cornerback, someone outside on the other side of Terrell. I just think the Falcons right now don't have a lot. This offseason is not going to be very good, just considering they traded their first round pick last year, and that guy who they traded for is now in legal trouble. So, not a great start for the offseason. But they did have some good rookies this year.
Hmm.
Um, Now we go to the team that actually finished just short of the division as well, the Buccaneers. So why don't you go through their season as well?
Yeah, I mean they were red hot in the start, but then they slowed down a lot. They ended up losing close game. Had a stretch where they lost three divisional game plus to the Miami Dolphins, which if they beat the Miami Dolphins, they would have been in the playoff. But yeah, Baker seemed like a MVP candidate earlier during the season, but then his performance slowed down, you know which caused his team and the sacks were also a problem. Bucky was a heavy load, but was limited due to injuries with only 10 games played. But, he was decent when he had a chance to play. I said Ricky, they had a rookie offense player of the year candidate where Emeka, he was sneakily close to 1,000 yard. He started off the season very hot, but then he had a stretch where he could get nothing going. Then Mike Evans, Chris Godwin was limited due to injuries this season, where it forced like the fourth, sixth string to allow fourth and sixth stringers to come in for playing time. And they're ranked top 10 worst defense, which slowed this team down as well.
Mhm. They bring in new offensive coordinator Zach Robinson, who is an OC in Atlanta. In the draft, they have seven picks, which is just a normal one pick per round. They have no additional picks. They have the 15th overall pick, and then some key free agents: Rashad White at running back, Mike Evans at receiver, Sterling Shepard at receiver, Kade Allen at tight end. On the O line, Michael Jordan and Dan Feeney, and then on defense, the edge rusher Hassan Reddick, D tackle Logan Hall, and D tackle Greg Gaines, and then on the back end, Levante David at linebacker and Jamel Dean at corner. So, what do you have for positions in need?
Yeah, I mean, I put wide receiver just because Mike Evans is set to become a free agent and he's
Mhm.
getting old. So, I mean, Chris Godwin is also getting old and he has a little bit of injury concern, which leaves J Mac and Emeka on the wide receiver one and two most likely. Kate Auden is a free agent, so I also put tight end. All linemen because Baker was getting like pressured a lot this season and a lot in defense.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't have O-line as one of my positions in need. I think their O-line is pretty solid. I have receiver and tight end, right, with all the free agents coming up. I have edge rusher and D tackle, and then linebacker and corner. So pretty big overhaul on defense. You did mention their defense was one of the worst in the league. Um, do you think Mike Evans gets brought back to the Bucks?
I mean, I could see it. Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, he is getting older, but he is a franchise legend, so I can see either way. Um, yeah. We'll move on now to the Detroit Lions. Disappointing season, especially coming off a season, where they were the one seed. Now they missed the playoffs. So what happened this year? How did they miss the playoffs?
Yeah, they had a positive record. They finished 9-8, just a few close loss. Jared Goff had an incredible season, in my opinion, just a bit too much sack. But other than that, he balled out the season. Gibbs got more touches than Monty, like a little unusual. I mean, it's Gibbs is preferred RB1 than Monty, but like last season, it was like even in my opinion. But then Gibbs flash, Gibbs had a very good season as well. Yeah, and then amazing wideouts. I start off with Sam Laporta, the tight end. He was limited due to injuries. JMO had one of his best season, and then my boy Amram keeps, showing out why he's one of the best wide on the league. And a little injury bug on the defense, but still ranked in the middle of the pack.
Yeah. Um, so now they bring in a new offensive coordinator in Drew Petzing, who was the offensive coordinator in Arizona. In the draft, they have 8 picks, just a normal set of picks. And some key free agents they have, most of them are all on defense with Al-Qaeda Muhammad, Marcus Davenport on the edge, DJ Reader interior on the D tackle, Alex Anzalone in linebacker, and then cornerbacks Amik Robinson and Rock Yassin. And then on the O-line, Taylor Decker is a cut candidate. So what do you have for their needs?
Yeah, I just put offensive line just because, yeah, Jared Goff was getting pressured a lot. I feel like cornerback is another need just because I said their corner are already low tier, but a lot of them is a free agents, so they should look in that position. And just put edge, D line, and linebacker because that position that position has a lot of starters that are free agent, and they
Mhm.
should resign or attack Alex and Zaloni.
Yeah, I'll go on defense first because you kind of mentioned everything except corners. I think they do need some corners. They have two free agent corners who are big contributors. And then on offense, they're all offensive line questions, but it's gonna be right guard, left tackle, and center. They do have solid players there. It's just gonna be how they reshuffle it, and I think they need one more piece on the O-line. You mentioned offensive guard, but this Lions team, they have negative 9 million in cap space, so it's going to be a lot of drafts and kind of like re-signing free agents. So, what are your thoughts on this offseason? Anything that you see them doing?
I
And
mean, yeah, they got a new offense coordinator. I don't think we mentioned that, right?
yeah, Drew Petzing from Arizona.
Yeah, they got a new OC and just, excited. I mean, not excited, but their defense is gonna get better next
Hmm.
season. Just because they had a lot of injury on defensive side this season.
And then we'll move on to our last non-playoff team. We got the Minnesota Vikings, who, like I said, just missed the playoffs, but they finished third in the NFC North. So, what do you have for their season?
Yeah, they finished the same as the Detroit Lions, 9-8. Few close loss, like the Lions as well. JJ McCarthy, he was limited a little bit due to injury, but he had more interception than touchdowns, I wrote down, which is very iffy. Can you double check that stat real quick for
Yeah,
me?
I'll check that. You can keep going.
Their QB2 and QB3 was not any better. Max Brusmer, he was very bad. I thought, yeah, and then Aaron Jones was limited also due to injury, but he seems old watching him. Jordan Mason was solid this season. Solid wideout depth, but Nine struggled to throw it to these wideouts, which I was impressed that, Jay Jettis was still able to get it to 1,000 yard and
Hmm.
yeah, top five best defense or top five defense. Very elite.
Yeah. Uh, I put in your notes, but JJ McCarthy had 11 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. So yeah, you're right on that stat.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, the coaching moves, they didn't make any coaching changes, so they're bringing back Kevin O'Connell. Offensive defensive coordinators are staying the same. The offseason preview wise, they have 8 picks and they have 4 top 100 picks. So that's the good news. The bad news is they're negative 43 million in cap, and this is not an easy negative money to cut because it's not a quarterback. Their quarterback's on a rookie contract, and um, in terms of free agents, they don't have that many. Jalen Naylor, Justin Silk, Jalen Redmond, and Eric Wilson, but they're gonna have to make a lot of money work because they don't have free agents coming in. Aaron Jones is a cut candidate, TJ Hawkinson is a cut candidate, and then Harrison Smith has announced his retirement. So with no money and decent amount of picks, what do you have for their needs?
Yeah, I just said tight end just because Hawkinson is slowing down his progression and he's getting a little bit old, no production out of him. And I'm pretty sure Vikings are paying him a lot from what I saw. Running back is also a thing just because Mason's a solid back. Jones is getting kind of old. Maybe wideouts, maybe one more mid wide receiver. Quarterback also could be a thing just because JJ McCarthy does not look like that guy apparently. And cornerback, safety, and because there's a lot of free agent there.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. Cornerback and safety and linebacker, those are the three defensive positions I have. And then on offense, I think their line is pretty good. The issue is their quarterback is a big question mark. I can see them going after somebody to challenge McCarthy, and then receiver, someone outside of Jefferson, with Jalen Naylor being a free agent. So with negative money here, as a Bears fan, are you worried about the Vikings offseason this year?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of would be, but like what you said, Harrison Smith is retiring Hogginson and Jones. But the thing is that how much would they get from that?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now we go to the playoff teams. So we have the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, how did they make the playoffs and what happened?
I mean, they finished the season also 8-9, which they got the tiebreaker over the Tampa Bay. Few good wins, few close loss, and a loss in the wild card, a close one against one of the best team this year. Bryce Young had a inconsistent year. Bad games were very terrible. Good, but then like the good plays make us think that he'll be the future QB for the Carolina. Interception was also a major problem for him. They had two solid running back this year, Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. And for the wideout, Tedder McMullen is the only positive good wideout in this group. I mean, we could add Jalen Coker just because he balled out in the playoff. We'll see how he does in the future. And their defense was middle of the pack. They're ranked 14-ish. Yeah.
Hmm. So that brings us to the coaching moves. No coaching moves. Carolina had a good season. They made the playoffs, so they're not making any changes there. Nobody got hired away there. Draft wise, they have 8 picks. They have a second, fifth round pick, but other than that, it's just a standard set of picks. And then free agents coming up. Rico Dowdle, which is a big running back. He kind of had a great season this year. Jalen Coker, um, Austin Corbett on the O-line, Brady Christensen on the O-line, and then Cade Mays on the O-line. On defense, DJ Wanham at the edge, Christian Roseboom at linebacker, and Nick Scott at safety. So that leads us to what is your position to need?
Yeah, I put running back for first just because Rico Dowdle's our free agent. He was a 1,000-yard rusher, maybe a depth piece because I think they'll split the backfield this season again. Wide receiver, because Tedder McMillan is the only positive. Coker maybe, and O line could also definitely improve. Safeties just because they have no big time name safeties.
Hmm. I kind of went defense on this. I mean, every position on defense I have is a need for the Panthers. Edge, D tackle, linebacker, cornerback, safety, every position is a need. But I don't think all of them have bad. I mean, they have JC Horn, they have guys on each side, but I just think each
Yeah.
of them can be improved on. And then offense, wide receiver and center, both their positions I think are of need. Um, but yeah, you have high hopes for the Carolina Panthers with 12 million, 12.5 million in cap space.
Yeah, I think their season will definitely. I mean, they had a decent year this year, but I think it'll get better next year. a little
Mhm.
bit.
Now we move on to Justin's favorite team. Um, the Packers, they finished the season 9-7. So how did they get there?
Yeah, I mean their first round exit very, very terrible, very very terrible. They finished the season 9-7-1, pretty solid season. Start off, I mean they started off the season very hot, but then they're very iffy games. Very, or all their loss was very iffy, except the last two games. Two very good game against, or all the games against the Bears were very good, where they lost two games and won one game. They lost in the wild card, blew a huge lead. Jordan Love had a decent year. Not that much INT. Touchdowns were top 15, which is not bad at all. Josh Jacob had a good season, close to 1,000, but missed two games, which I think kind of, hit the 1,000 yard mark. Decent wideout room. Dubs was Dobbs Watson was mid, and then Golden went off in the playoffs. I just said Golden question mark. And then Kraft and Watson and Reed was very limited due to injury. Their defense was also top 15, which is not bad, but Micah injury was a huge problem for them. And then they also signed Trevon Diggs during the playoffs.
hmm
Yeah.
So the preview now, they brought in new defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon, who was the head coach in Arizona previously. In terms of the preview, they have no first round pick, obviously the Micah Parsons trade, but they have also no top 50 picks, but two in the top 100. So they're not going to be, too involved until the 50 unless they make a trade. Key free agents wise, Romeo Dobbs, key free agent, Rasheed Walker at O-line, Ryan at O-line, and then on defense, Kingsley Agmanari at edge, Quay Walker at linebacker, and Trayvon Diggs at cornerback. Um, yeah, what do you have for positions of need for the Packers? Your favorite, guys you want to see go to the Packers.
Nah, more like, beating the Packers. But wide receiver Dobbs is a free agent, and they have no. Well, their wide receiver is very inconsistent. I feel like they also need cornerbacks, maybe like one more solid corner. Edge, just because Micah Parsons got a season-ending injury, will miss some time in the regular season, from what I'm expecting. And there's no depth there. I put a linebacker as well, just because that position could get some work as well.
hmm I have O-line, right guard and left tackle. On defensive tackle, linebacker, and cornerback. So, pretty standard set of guys. I think the cap space is gonna be the issue. The Packers have negative money in cap, so they're gonna have to make some money move around, especially with Jordan Love making such a big contract. So we'll see how that impacts the Packers.
Yeah.
Now, one of your teams we get to is the Philadelphia Eagles. Bounced in the first round of the playoffs. What happened to them coming off the Super Bowl win this season? Definitely didn't get back there. So what went wrong? What went right?
Yeah, they had a decent year where they finished 11 and 6. All these losses were pretty bad in my opinion, just because they were losing close game. But the last one is, you know, the last loss was a bunch of Philadelphia backups, so it's okay. They lost to the Niners, which, Philly fans are mad. Niners fans are happy that they beat Philadelphia once again. Just a little short rivalry thing, I'll
Hold on.
say.
Do you think they should have played their starters in the week 18? Just looking back now, knowing that, they didn't look that great against the Niners, you as a fan, you as an analyst, what do you think? Do you think
They,
giving them the
yeah, they
rest?
they should have played at least a half.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know about the whole game, but maybe a half at
No,
least.
that
At
makes sense.
least.
I think that
Yeah.
makes sense. You don't want them getting too rusty, taking a whole week off. But
Yeah. I mean, it worked the year they won the Super Bowl, so something there, but
that's true.
yeah. And then I said Jalen Hurts season year. And it looks with that one game against the Chargers, he threw a lot of interceptions. But if
He had a
if you
fumble and
remove
an interception in the same play.
if you remove that game, he has not that much interception, which is very good. He takes care of the ball. Another good year for Barkley, 1K rushing club. And I said Bixby. I think Bixby was a good trade. He's a good running back too. And I said a good wide receiver core, AJ Brown and Smith was 1,000 yard club. Godward was also very useful this season, but a lot of drama was happening in the soccer room during the season, which I think killed the momentum in the team. And the defense was top 12. And Jalen Phillips trade with the Dolphins was very huge for this team, despite falling short in the
Hmm.
first round.
And your favorite member of this Eagles team, Kevin Patullo, is gone, unfortunately. So now they have a new offensive coordinator, Sean Mannion, the quarterback coach for the Green Bay Packers, is brought in. Their draft. So they have the 23rd overall pick. They have four top 100 picks, but they also have no picks beyond the fifth round. So they're going to be pretty top heavy there. Bringing a lot of guys. They can be making moves. Free agents wise, they're losing Jahan Dotson. Um, sorry, Jahan Dotson's a free agent. I don't know if they're going to lose him. Dallas Goedert's a free agent. Fred Johnson, Jalen Phillips, Nakobe Dean, Adoree Jackson, and Reed Blankenship are all free agents. So some big names on that championship winning team. And then some other guys on the O line who could retire. Lane Johnson is getting older. He could be a retirement candidate. And Landon Dickerson recently came out saying, so due to injury, he might be a retirement candidate as well. So with that being said, what do you have for positions of need?
Yeah, I have a lot. I put tight end just because Dallas Goedert and Calcaterra is a free agent. Edge just because there's a few big players in that position that are free agents. Safety just because, Blankenship and Epps is a free agent. Cornerback just because Adoree Jackson and Clean Ringo is not them. I don't know if they're gonna be starting for other teams. I don't think so. And wide receiver just because AJ Brown is a trade candidate, and they could afford another wide receiver.
Hmm. They have 18 million in cap, so not that much in cap to fix a lot of these needs. I have tight end as their position needs well with Goddard being a free agent. Right tackle, right guard, left guard, just because of all the guys who are injured or potential retiring. And then some DB help, right? We like um, we like Cooper DeJean, we like Quinyon Mitchell, but outside of that, their DB room's not too great. Um, as I can see you agree. What do you foresee in this Eagles offseason? What do you think? Do they attack offense or defense in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think they should attack defense just because, that offense is still pretty solid. They have that boy Saquon Barkley. They have Jalen Hurts, who is, I would say a top 10, but I digress. I would go to like top 16-ish. He's gonna have to prove me wrong to to go back to that top 10 list. And they have a solid wide receiver group. And I think they should upgrade that defense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we move on to the next team that you also happen to be a fan of. But this is your actual team, the Chicago Bears. Surprise season from them. So let's hear from the Bears fan how surprised we were.
Yeah, they finished 11-6, a very good season from the Chicago Bears. They were winning a lot of clutch games, but also dropped a little bit of clutch games. You know, week one was a bad loss, or the worst loss, in my opinion. But, a new coach and a new quarterback for the other team. So, I mean, it's okay.
You mean
They
nine?
beat the, that team. And they beat the the rival Packers twice. A very good stat, I say. Caleb Williams is 3-1 against the Packers now, or I don't
That's
know.
not right. They played
It's a
five times.
it's 3-2. It's 3-2. A
This dude
positive
trying to
record.
juice up Caleb Williams over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a positive record, and they lost a brutal loss to the LA Rams, where I think they should have won. Player wise, a very good year from Caleb Williams. Was close to Bears first 4,000 passing yards. He was very consistent, like not throwing interception. Low sack number compared to last season where he was about to break the record. I'm pretty sure. Swift and Manungai was a very good split duo backfield. Very good run this year. Ramo Dunze was limited to injury. Had a good start, but then slowed down. DJ Moore was inconsistent all year, but you know the thing I'll say is he's a Packers killer. He would always ball out against the Packers. Had a good play against the Packers every single game. The defense, their top 20 defense. I mean, they force a lot of turnovers. It's bend but not break defense, which is very scary. Very good draft there. Loveland, Luther, Ozzy Trapillo, Mandangai. In the seventh round is a steal, and it's cardiac bears. Hopefully they fix that up. No more cardiac.
hmm they have no coaching moves, so they bring back all the coaching staff. In terms of the draft, they have 7 picks. Pretty standard set here. Key free agents: Braxton Jones on the O line, and then on defense, Andrew Billings, and then defensively, defensive backs: Deshaun Wright, Nick McLeod, Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So, and then they have two guys. So Theo Benedict is re-signed on the O line, but Tremaine Edmonds, he's a cut candidate on the defensive side. So, what do you have for positions of need?
I mean, let's talk about the coaches. I'm pretty sure they lost the offensive coordinator, if
Who?
I'm not mistaken. I don't know, but I think I saw on IG where they released the offense coordinator, but that's nothing huge
Okay,
just
did they
because
hire a new one? Because I looked at the site for like. Okay, so
they
Declan
did.
Doyle was left. He left to be the Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator. So Press Taylor's the new offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
Okay.
but let's go back to the player position. I said safety just because Brisker, Byard, CG Gardner Johnson, and Owens are all safeties. They're very good, but there's no depth just because all of them are set to become a free agent. Defensive lines, because I feel like, you know, the Chicago Bears, get no pressure and it's one of the worst. Cornerback, just because, no show right is a free agent. And I said wide receiver potentially, just because there's a lot of news that they're about to trade away DJ Moore.
hmm You're gonna love my positions of need for the Bears. It goes edge, D tackle, linebacker, cornerback, free safety, strong safety. This is the only team that has every position on defense as a need, and that's because both all their safeties are free agents. This one is a very funny one. I will say, the Bears, they locked up their offense. Everyone on offense is coming back for the most part, right? Barring injuries, right? The O-line's all locked up. Their defense, I mean. At this point, me or you got to suit up for the Bears. I know you have that Bears helmet. You might gotta put on that helmet, go play safety for the Bears. There's nobody on the Bears right now that that is suiting up on at safety. And the best part is they have no cap either. They got -5 million in cap with a rookie quarterback contract. So somewhere the money's got to be made up. We'll see how that goes. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to see you suit up for the Bears. Starting at safety from Mukilteo, Washington, Justin.
Yeah, see, I'm a ball hawk, so I'll be getting some interception, but
hmm
yeah.
hmm I'm sure that's what the Bears need right now, just net safety. But we'll move on to the team that beat them in the play, or not the team that beat them, sorry. The team that beat the Eagles in the playoffs, the 49ers. So how did they get to the playoffs and what happened in the playoffs for them?
Yeah, they finished 12-5, a very good season, despite having all these injuries this season. They beat the Eagles in the first round, but then got bounced by the Seattle Seahawks. Brock Purdy plays decent, but was limited due to injury. Back then, Mac Jones did his job when Purdy was out. A very dominant year from CMC, where he was very good on the ground and the air. CMC was close to 1,000 receiving yard, which is a shocker, I say. Just because he's a running back. Pearsall limited due to injury. No Ayuk this year. Jennings played good this year, and Kittle was also limited due to injury. Defensive wise, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, season-ending injury, but they're still ranked, the 13th best defense though.
And just kind of adding on a note, George Kittle tore his Achilles against the Eagles in the playoffs. So that's gonna probably mean for the upcoming year, he's gonna be out for a lot of it, if not all of it. They brought a new defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris from Atlanta. He was the head coach in Atlanta. In the draft, they have 7 picks, but they have no picks beyond the fifth round. So another team that's pretty front loaded. The key free agents: Brandon Ayuk, who didn't play this year, Jawan Jennings, a free agent, Kendrick Bourne's a free agent, and then Spencer Burford, Sam on the edge, Kalia Davis, Jordan Elliott, and Jordan Pinnock. So, uh, and then Trent Williams is a retirement or holdout candidate. So, what do you have for positions in need?
I would just put D lines because both Nick Bosa will probably be limited next season. Linebacker because Fred Warner will be next season limited next season. There's no depth behind him in my opinion. And wide receiver, just because Ayuk is gonna leave. John Johnson is a free agent. O-line, because O-line's a huge problem for this team.
hmm I also have O-line as one of the positions in need, wide receiver, and then D tackle and corner, just kind of fix up their defense. They had a solid defense, but um, it could be improved on. And this Niners team, big thing was injuries. Do you think the injuries continue? Obviously there's the electric substation. Do you think this Niners team just gets unlucky with injuries? Do you think they can be healthy next year and potentially make a run? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that'll be a little bit healthier next season for sure.
hmm
Mhm.
Now we get the final two teams. The team that beat your Bears, the Los Angeles Rams. So what do we have for the Rams? Let's hear
Yeah,
this one. Let's
we'll be
let's hear
breaking down
this.
like your favorite team, your favorite team. And I'll say they finished 12-5, a very good year from the LA Rams. All of these loss was in a clutch scenario from what I saw. They won two clutch games in the playoff where they beat the Panthers and the Bears, but then lost a close one to Seattle Seahawks. Stafford was amazing this year. The reason why he won MVP. Almost 5,000 passing yard, 46 touchdown and a low INT, and was and didn't take that much sack. Split backfield from Kyron and Blake Corum. They had both very good season in my opinion. Puka Nakua putting up video games number once again. Devontae Adams was limited due to injury, but was close to 1,000 yards. And they used a lot of tight ends set this season, from what I saw. And their defense was top six this season. Amazing, amazing D line and a solid secondary.
Mhm. So the coaching moves they have, so they're bringing in offensive coordinator Nathan Shieldhouse, who was the past coordinator in LA in the draft. This one is very crazy, but they have the 13th overall pick and the 29th overall pick. They have the Falcons' first round pick from a trade last season. They have four top 100 picks, but none between 100 and 150. And then for agents wise, they have Justin Dedich at safety, and then some DBs, Kobe Durant, Roger McCreary, Akella Weatherspoon at cornerback, and Cam Curl at safety. Justin's favorite safety, Cam Curl. And then Rob Havenstein has announced his retirement. So, what do you have for positions in need?
I mean, yeah, talking about Ken Kerr, he might be in the Bears, saying, but why I feel like they need a wide receiver help just because Devontae Adams is getting old. Puka is elite, but you need that wide receiver too next to him. Quarterback, despite Stafford winning MVP, he is getting old and it's almost a retirement just because this year, coming to this year, there was rumors that Stafford was not gonna play, right?
hmm
And cornerback just because there's a lot of key cornerback for this team. Safety just because Cam Carl's a free agent and the depth is not good there.
Yeah, I have receiver as well. Adams being getting old. Right tackle, replacing Rob Havenstein. And then cornerback and safety, they need some secondary help. I think if you had that one weak position this year, it'd be the DBs. And then I also have special teams. Their special teams was very iffy this year. They lost a couple games because of special teams. So that's just something maybe they want to get cleaned up a little bit. But yeah, any thoughts on the Rams this offseason? Obviously during the season we talked about them being one of the best teams, if not the best team on paper. Their team's getting a little older though, but they do have a young defense. So what do you look for in this offseason, especially with money, 44 million, almost 45 million in cap, and having 10 draft picks?
Yeah, said that the two draft pick and the first one is going to be very huge in the offseason.
hmm
They should focus on the secondary just because, there's a lot of free agent there. And then I just said huge one is Stafford retiring soon, maybe.
Yeah. Now we'll move on to the Super Bowl champs, the Seattle Seahawks. Why don't you explain how they got to be the Super Bowl champs?
Yeah, they finished the season 14-3. I Three of those, they lost was a close loss. I think, they should have won those three games. I just said, they should have had a perfect year this year. And Sam Darnold, he had a few bad INTs, but zero in the playoff, which got them the Super Bowl, but got sacked somewhat amount. Good season from K9 and Charbonnet, but Charbonnet got injured in the playoffs. K9, the Super Bowl MVP. JSN had a video game number stats wise this year. Cup was very crucial in the playoff run and the regular season. They traded for Rashid Shaheed, which was a very good trade in my opinion. They the Titans, AJ Barner and how do you say the Titan?
Arroyo,
Arroyo was very good this year. Julian Love was limited this season, but this defense was top three.
they're better than top three. But in terms of coaching moves, they lost offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak, so now they're bringing in run game coordinator and tight end coach for San Francisco, Brian Fleury. The draft they only have four picks because of the Rashid Shaheed trade. So they do have first, second, and third round picks, but it's just going to be those three picks in the late round pick for the Seahawks. They got a lot of money. They got 61 in cap, but they do have some extensions and some free agents. They got Kenneth Walker and Rashid Shaheed on offense, big key playmakers. On defense, Boye Mafe, Drake Thomas, Josh Jobe, Reek Woolen, Kobe Bryant, Ty Okada. Some big names on their defensive side. And DeMarcus Lawrence is a retirement candidate. So what are your thoughts on positions of need?
Yeah, first I just said cornerback just because Woolen and Job is a free agent. Which one will they bring back? Hopefully, it's Woolen. Wide receiver, Shaheed is a free agent. Cup is getting, old. Running back, Super Bowl MVP, K9 is a free agent. And Zach Charbonnet, season-ending injury. And the playoff was the running. I'm assuming Zach Charbonnet will not be ready in week one. And if they don't resign K9, I don't know who the starter will be. And I just said edge because Mafe is a free agent.
Hmm for position of need, I have running back, obviously, because Walker's a free agent, and I have right guard. Anthony Bradford could be improved on. And then edge rusher, Muffy's a free agent, cornerback safety, they're losing a lot of free agents there. They do have, 61 million in cap. They don't really have that much draft. So I know you're a big fan of Woolen. Is there a certain spot you want Woolen to go to if it's not Seattle,
Hopefully
like the
not the
Packers?
Packers.
Um, yeah, so that's all our offseason recaps. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Before we get out of here, anybody in the combine that you're particularly impressed with? I know we saw all the defensive guys in the first 2 days. So we're getting the offense today, but anything on defense that you liked?
I mean, I haven't been paying that much attention, but from what I saw, the who's the brothers from
Yeah,
OSU?
Sonny Styles and Lorenzo Styles. Lorenzo Styles
Yeah,
runs a 4-2 or 4-2-7. Sonny Styles with insane athletic traits.
yeah, that was very impressing. The OSU boys were very impressing, and a little bit of, psych. I mean, not how do you say his name? The Utah corner,
Prysock,
Prysock.
Prysock and Davis.
Yeah, they both shocked me. Yeah.
hmm we're gonna see some receivers and quarterbacks today. Running backs went today already. So I'm interested to see that. Um, got a lot of speed, got a lot of athleticism, but that's also because probably the guys who have those skills are participating. Um, that's it for the episode. Next week we're gonna have our top 100 free agent breakdowns where we predict where the free agents are gonna go. But stay tuned for that. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.